Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week we hear updates about the Titan suit, character physiology changes depending on where you start, plus we take a closer look at the underground facility from CitizenCon's mission. So kicking off with calling all devs, the first question is, how will you encourage players to behave in a realistic manner in big cities, as it will look very strange seeing people jumping off bridges to take shortcuts and whatnot. Now they say that running around is only going to be based off of your stamina. They can't really enforce a play style on people, and I personally don't like seeing people just running around everywhere all the time, but I know if I was in a hurry I would want to be able to, so it doesn't sound like they're going to do anything as such, but the stamina of the character will be the only implications if people were jumping everywhere. Next question, will players be able to carry a portable hub or a sleeping bag while travelling in land vehicles that don't have beds to log off? And they say no, not right now, or in the foreseeable future. Nice idea, but I'm not really too sure about that myself. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it though. Next question, are there plans to add animations to the inner thought function, so characters actually reach out and press buttons on your ship's cockpit? And yes, they say definitely they're giving us a holistic feel. It's very important to them. All interactions will have animations. Currently they are looking at the next step of FPS combat AI and giving it more urgency and reaction. They want to give the AI more of an actual combatant feeling rather than this gamey AI feel that we have at the moment in a lot of games. And to me, AI is very important, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have up their sleeves there. Next question, what is meant in terms of interplay between the Banu Merchantman and the Banu Defender? Basically, you know, some sort of synergy between the two ships. Is this because they are both Banu ships, or what's going on basically? Now, they did say there's nothing they can say just yet. They did say they'll build in some nice features that tie the ships together. They need to build them first before they can say for certain, you know, because they don't want to get people's hopes up. They have some ideas. They want to try it out first and see what works well, what feels good, and then go from there. At the very least, they say the Defender is designed to defend the Banu Merchantman, so it is specific to defending that ship, but nothing was really revealed. So final question is, what is the current state on being able to directly access and interact with components within our ships without using the mobiGlas? Now, internally for Q4, so end of this year, they will use the Terrapin and place the actual live working components in the component slots and hook them up. Step 1 is physically placing them within the ship. Step 2 is then being able to pick them up and inspect them. As you take the item from the ship, it will obviously be disconnected from the ship, meaning that there will be no power if you took out the power plant, for example. Swapping them with others as well. Running repairs to swap the damaged item with the new. All this won't be ready for Q4, but they are starting now. And also, they are beginning work on the Terrapin. And then they will move on to other ships and get them working from then on. They need to get it working on a small scale before they attempt to stick them in like a reclaimer or something big. But I am super excited for this engineering style gameplay. I have done a separate video on this, going into a little bit more detail, but just covering the information from Calling All Devs. The link to that is below, should you want to watch it. So on Around the Verse this week, Chris begun by explaining that 3.3 development continues on. Now most of the things are in the polishing phase. QA is focusing on gameplay quality and quality of life improvements, so making sure that the game runs smoothly and the bugs are as little as they can be. Also, the dev team are now looking past 3.3 and focusing on patch 3.4 and beyond. So the main focus for ATV was looking at the second part of this CitizenCon mission, where they took a closer look at the underground facility. Now, they said that they needed another unique location on Hurston. The underground facility that we saw is a bunker, and this is due to the law of Hurston using weapon testing on their own planet, basically. But other possible underground locations could be mining facilities, because they did do a lot of mining there as well for all the weapons that they make. But it was set up similar to rest stop interiors, so they use these plug-in tools where they have a library of rooms which get configured in different ways. After the layout of the facility was decided, they needed to talk to the AI combat code team to establish what actions the AI can take within this facility, making sure that there's enough cover for them, and obviously taking the AI weapons and skills into consideration. They need to ensure that the AI play as realistic as possible, or to a decent realistic standard. This, what we saw, was the basic grunt level, so pretty much any army grunt sort of person skill level. If one of the AI is patrolling and they see something, they'll react and call for reinforcements and so forth. So simple stuff, but quite effective. Now they want to make sure that when you approach the facility that there are pockets of resistance where you can fight the AI. They're working with the art team as well so that they can build a nice set which looks organic and doesn't look too obviously like cover, so they put little boxes in and so forth. It also needs to look like the facility is in use, so it's still being used and it was at least used for something, not just a placeholder thing. For the future, as they build out the library of assets, they will be able to do more complex underground spaces, much bigger facilities with more rooms, and they do plan to have multiple underground facility missions, each with different layouts. This is the first step to underground facilities and caves, and they will expand it a lot. Also, lots more work for the AI as well, having AI combatants in derelicts in space and on the ground, in outposts, on planets and moons, for example. The AI is really important to Chris Roberts and CIG, and they have to get it dialed in and get it to a great standard. Personally, I'd love to see the ability to take over these underground facilities and drive out the current occupants and then take them over as a base, maybe adding things to them that you may need and defending them if other players come along to try and take them from you. I think that'll be good. Also, if they are maybe old mining facilities, being able to recommission them and get them earning you some assets, that would be quite useful, but obviously that is more likely way down the line compared to just getting them in-game. But yeah, when 3.3.5 comes out and we have Hurston, it is going to be very exciting having a mission taking us to these locations. Seeing the AI outside of Korea for the first time will be pretty fun and exciting as well. But that was ATV, guys. Let us move on to RTV. So on Reverse the Verse this week, looking at characters and content, the first question was, will characters bruise or visually bleed? Now this is sort of talking about character asset degradation. They do want to show this sort of stuff like cuts, gunshots and scarring. This is the high level goal for the future, not something early on. They do want to mark characters to show that they have been through something pretty disastrous, for example, like fake limbs. And they do want to have a robust damage degradation effect on armour, but it does require a little more R&D to find a way to do it right and do it effectively. It's not the same as they do with ships, it is different tech. But Chris Roberts is keen on getting holes and impacts on armour, so hopefully they will find something that works and works well and keeps performance to a good standard. Next question, will there be clothing or accessories we can wear over armour? Now we won't be able to layer, say, a duster on the top of armour, but they can create items and armours that have that look. So you're not just going to be able to throw a coat over the top of it. There will be a huge range of clothing and armours that do have cloth and accessories over the top. So we'll be able to have the look. And it will look much better than just throwing a duster on, they say. But they could always create items to attach to particular armours, like maybe a cape to attach to that particular armour suit. I'm pretty sure they will come up with a huge range for us that we'll always find what we're looking for. It's just a case of working through and building them. Next question, will we have the ability to colour hair and armour itself? And they're still deciding whether we get the ability to have an item of armour and then we can just pick from an array of colours, or whether we will have certain armours that come in like X, Y and Z types of colours. They could choose either, they said, but they need to figure out what the best option is. Obviously, if you go into a shop and you see like a jacket you like, you're not going to be able to pick it in every single colour under the sun. There's only going to be a range of colours, and so I think they will probably take that approach to it unless maybe you buy a type of dye to do something else. We'll see. Next question, will we be able to recognise our friends in-game using this DNA face customizer? And yes, certainly the level of detail they are going to, you will be able to recognise people. There is still some more to come in terms of fidelity for characters, but don't forget body shape and head size is changeable, so you will be able to recognise your friends. Maybe at a slight distance, but up close, definitely. Next question, how far are you going with customizable body types? And they say body weight will change. Don't think extremes, just think enough to sort of make a difference, but the height will always stay the same due to metrics. Question after this is to do with the Titan suit. What's the situation with it? Now he says they can't talk about what they're really up to now. It is in development. Obviously, last we heard they had a few issues with the turn radius being too big so it couldn't turn in corridors when it holds the size 1 weapon. They have reworked it and they're getting it finalised now, but it's not gone too much past concept because people were brought off for CitizenCon. He's really keen to get back on with creating the Titan suit because he feels like it's a layer of missing gameplay. So players, for example, have no chance against ships, and having something to at least deter a ship, like if you're at a landing spot and you don't want a ship to land, not that you can go toe-to-toe with a constellation in one, but making it think twice and choose against it is a good at least giving that option there. They also want it to act like some sort of shock trooper within in interiors, but they do need to balance it yet, so it can't really move fast, it turns slower than a human, it needs weak spots, some places it can't go maybe, so there's a lot of balancing there. But they want it to do more than combat, and he didn't really want to talk too much about this. He did say something to do with the frame, so the Titan suit frame, and in my opinion I'm thinking maybe you purchase a frame of a Titan suit, and then you can attach certain things or modules for maybe combat mining, salvaging cargo, or maybe there's select different frames for combat mining and so forth. It does sound like there's going to be more variation to them, not just this is now your combat suit, which does sound very exciting. Something to clear up is it is a suit that you wear. It is not a mech where you sit in a cockpit. It goes around the body. It's a little bit taller than a human, so it's not a mech. Anyway, next question. Will there be special clothes for males and females? And they say there will be individual clothes, but equally there will be a one-for-one choice for both sexes. You will occasionally find an item, maybe a red dress, which is obviously for a female, and the male won't have that option, but they will have something else instead of. Next question, will we be able to modify beards in games? Now, he says switching styles, yes, definitely, but they're not sure about growing hair or beards. But Chris has recently been watching Red Dead Redemption videos on growing hair, and he sent a big email saying how he's figured out how they're doing it, so potentially it's something that he might want, and later down the line we may get that, but it depends on whether he wants it or not. But you will be able to change the style. Next question is, will characters be able to have pointed ears? Now, they have discussed in great length regarding changing to the human physiology due to where they live. So, like in The Expanse, if a player grows up in an area with more or less gravity, their bodies will be deformed differently based on the forces that are exerted on them. This is something they would love to do, so having altered humans, which will really help break up the population, having different skin colours to what we already know depending on the food and the environment they live in, that would be very cool. They have got some great ideas and would love to maybe offer different variations in the character creator depending on the location the players choose to start. So you have these sort of heads if you start at Hurston compared to these if you start at Artcore, for example. They will be subtle features, they're not going to be obvious, but it's something. If you notice something about someone, you can think, he must have started in this location or was born here, which is a very cool touch. Anyway, next question. Will we be able to scan our own faces using a webcam and then have them in-game? And unfortunately, they say the fidelity using the webcam is not near enough the quality to scan the faces. When I got my face scanned, I sat inside a rig of 50, literally 50 SLR cameras with lights to ensure that the quality is incredible. Using a webcam at home is just not anywhere near that standard of quality. Next question is, are there going to be robots or droids? Now, there's nothing stopping them, but do they want them is the question. Chris Roberts has said a while ago that he doesn't really want things like that, so it's not likely. Maybe something subtle, but nothing like what you see in Star Wars. Final question, will the hair we saw at CitizenCon on the characters like Mark Hamill replace all the sort of hair that we get in the PU? Now, it's not going to quite be to that level. It's going to be a little lesser due to the performance goals, making sure that it runs properly. But what they do, they get it to the highest level and then they start toning it back until they get to a point where it's a good balance between the looks and performance. What we have now is going to be completely replaced, and it should be affected by physics like wind and movement and so forth. Anyway, that would reverse the verse, guys. Some really good points there, especially about the Titan suit, especially about subtle character physiology. Very excited to see these come down the line. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. Let's move on. So also this week, Phantom Bounty Part 2 was released. This is a really great read, by the way. I highly suggest checking it out. And finally, the Anvil Valkyrie Q&A is released. I'll cover that in my Valkyrie video coming sometime next week. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.